You look back at your own divorce. If you had ever had overreacted with your emotions, that may have cost you.
Wow, looking back, I think I probably made 35 different bad decisions and off of just emotional reactions, right? I mean, I for the first time in my life, I experienced an emotion that I was in fight mode all the time. You get into the divorce, I would say 99% of the people really have no idea what to do. They don't know what the next move they do. Number one, they know it's going to cost a lot of money. For every action there's a reaction. What does that look like? I don't know what that's going to look like. You're talking about an average retainer anywhere in the United States. Let's just say $5,000 for a retainer, billing at $300 an hour, which is about right. That's 16.6 billable hours that you have for that retainer, which means that your retainer is $75 per 15 minutes, which means every phone call, every text, every email is $75 because of the way you're talking to him. Maybe because back in my divorce, you talk to me crazy. Yeah, I'm probably going to be late on purpose. And you're texting and emailing your attorney who cannot help you. He's going back to tell the other attorney that tell your client to be on time. Boom. Y'all collectively just spent $13,000 on some bullshit that not a judge can tell you what to do. Being a kid, you're in the deep end, right? You're in the deep end treading water in the swimming pool. You're going to get tired eventually. What do? You start either navigating to the side rail to hold on to, or you navigate to the shallow end where you can touch. It's the same way of being in divorce deep end. You're literally swimming. You're treading water and you're trying to keep your shit together as best as you can for as long as you can until you get tired enough to where you got two decisions. I can go get in the shallow end and be safe, or I can drown.
Welcome to the Just Separated podcast. Hi, I'm Karen Oman, a thanatologist, grief counselor, divorce strategist, and co-author of the Just Separated workbook. I draw on years of personal and professional experience to guide you through the challenges of your divorce. Together, with our expert guests, we'll equip you with the clarity, resilience, and tools to take charge and move forward with confidence. Follow Just Separated and join us as we explore the many different facets of divorce. Welcome to the Just Separated podcast. I'm your host, Karen Oman, and co-founder of the Divorce Workshop. Today, we are going to talk about how your emotional reactions in divorce can cost you. I am thrilled to have our guest expert, CDC Chris Stuart, join us today. Chris Stuart is an entrepreneur for the last 16 years, owned 9 different businesses in many different industries. In 2018, experienced a 7-figure divorce from toxic behavior. He knew that there had to be a better way. He did it alone. He needed help in so many ways. Welcome, Chris, to the Divorce Workshop Just Separated podcast.
Karen, thank you for having me.
So I want to just start off by saying, we all have strong emotions with divorce, right? It's normal. It's normal to feel betrayed or feel angry. And as divorce is the second most stressful life event, really, compared to different than death loss. But today we're going to talk about ones that really, really can affect those emotions that really can affect you, such as legal, financial, or even the emotion baggage that comes with all that when you emotionally react too much. So I want to ask you first is, if you look back at your own divorce, if you had ever had overreacted with your emotions, that may have cost you.
Wow, looking back, I think I probably made 35 different bad decisions and off of just emotional reactions, right? I mean, I for the first time in my life, I experienced an emotion that I was in fight mode all the time for no reason. Right? I felt every day. I could be driving down the interstate, and I'm a male, I'm an alpha male, right? We don't share our feelings, we don't do those things. But I found myself driving down the interstate to start crying for no damn reason. I don't know if it could have been a song that came on, or it could be just like enough is enough. Like you find your level of emotions in so many different places. Whether or not you're at work, you're at school, you're at home, you're cooking, you're playing a sport, you're working out, it hits you in unexpected times. And people that don't understand how to really get in touch with their emotions have struggles, and it's a struggle for a very long time. And I think as a divorce coach, I needed me a long time ago, because when you get into the divorce, I would say 99% of the people really have no idea what to do. They don't know what the next move they do. Number one, they know it's going to cost a lot of money. For every action, there's a reaction. What does that look like? I don't know what that's going to look like. So if you start in the negotiations process, you start fighting over stupid things. Like I've seen people fight over dogs. We're talking you're going to litigate for $30,000 over your dog. Like I've seen so many different things, and you know, being emotional, it's just like when you're driving down the street and someone cuts you off. You immediately get triggered. Either you flip off the dude, or you say a lot of profanity, or you just get irritated. It happens. It's the same way. And in divorce, you're like that all the time. So unless you understand that you have support that you need that helps you figure out your emotions to make adequate decisions, because divorce is a business. And now you're into the most important chapter of your life as an adult, because now whatever actions you do now, they do have consequences or rewards, because we know it could be financially crucifying to you if you make wrong decisions and you make $100,000 a year, but yet you're spending $180,000 in legal fees. Do you know how long that takes to recoup? Many years, many years. So yes, I mean, if I could look back and tell myself just to stop, just stop and understand what you're doing is going off, and you're spending money that you don't need to spend, and you're fighting over things that make no sense. And so I would just tell myself to just literally slow down and open up your eyes. And then I would have had, if I had a divorce coach, that would have saved me a lot of money and a lot of time.
I have to ask, where do you think all the emotions, which can be all over the place, right? It's like a roller coaster. You can be
Right.
angry, you can be crying, you can be irritable, you could be sad. But where do you think
Yeah.
some of this anger comes from in divorce?
I've looked with so many different clients. I've seen so many different types of anger. I've seen so many types of grief. Um, I wish I had a magic ball, and I could answer that question like wholeheartedly, like this is the reason why. I've had clients that, because their spouse cheated with their sister, that's a problem. I hate this MFer, right? And so you are targeted there, number one, like not making good decisions because you hate this guy so much. Or you found out like your wife had all this debt and whatever that now surfaced that she never told you about. So you feel betrayed. And I think there's so many different levels of emotion out there. It's hard to really define why, because I think some people just realize, you know what? I loved this person for a long time. And I gave them the best 15 years of my life. We had two beautiful children together. You know what? At the end of the day, we just grew apart, and we're just disconnected. I don't know if it's anybody's fault, but that's where we're at. And I find those people, once they get into the legal ramifications, if they don't work with somebody who's really supporting them, it gets nasty. So it's like all of a sudden, is it the attorney's fault? It could be, depending on what attorney you get. I know plenty of attorneys that are the problem. I really do. I can name handfuls of them in Memphis. I would never work with these people because they're toxic and they make their clients toxic. When people don't understand going into a divorce, the attorneys work for you. It's not the other way around. They do what you tell them to do. But if you go in and you give them this, this, this ball, here's my life, make my life better, get me what I need. They don't know what you need. All they're going to do is try to get the most they can get for you. And that becomes a problem because there's no communication. So I find, to answer that question, I find I can't recognize one particular trait that makes it toxic. I think a lot of it comes from You're still hanging on to your past relationships of the why. Why did we fail? Why did you cheat on me? Why do I not find you attractive anymore? Why do we not communicate regularly? What's the problem here? So if you can't address why your relationship failed, how are you going to address how you can communicate and work together in a co-parenting relationship? People don't know how to do it. They really don't, because your marriage failed, your agreement failed here. What makes this successful? It's not like you could just snap your fingers. I could have made my marriage work if we had just worked together. So now you're telling me to go work together with someone who I can't stand, who we've already had a failed relationship with, and you're expecting us to have a healthy co-parenting relationship? It doesn't work that way. It does not. People have to be trained. You have to be trained. And I'll be honest with you, my ex, it's still toxic to me today for no reason. Our communication was our problem. It was. Communicating is hard, especially when you don't like somebody. But do you, like the James Sexton quote, do you love your children more than you hate your ex? The answer is yes. Like, stop. Like, you don't have to engage on this behavior. Like, so what we're talking about, emotional triggers that can be damaging to you going through a divorce and co-parenting. Like, for example, like you're talking about an average retainer anywhere in the United States. Let's just say $5,000 for a retainer, billing at $300 an hour, which is about right. That's 16.6 billable hours that you have for that retainer, which means that your retainer is $75 per 15 minutes, which means every phone call, every text, every email is $75. Either way you slice it. So let's talk about that. It's just general conversation. I see my clients, before they meet with me, or before, if I get them in the middle of their divorce, I start looking at their bill. I'm like, why are you $62,000 in and you make $90,000 a year? What is the problem? And I look at this bill and it's just like, so let's talk about this day. What happened this day? She says, I don't know. I'm like, are you keeping a calendar of events? Like you should be. Your attorney probably should have told you you need to keep a journal. Well, no. Okay. Well, let's think about it. Let's go back in time. They'll go back. Oh, well, yeah, that's when my spouse was late dropping off my child. And he's been doing it for every time drop off. He's always late. I said, I just tallied this up. And then the email and blah, blah, blah. All this one correspondence. You just spent $6,300. $6,300 because you're pissed off that your ex is 15 to 20 minutes late dropping your kids off. Do you do you realize that? Have you tried to communicate with him? Yes. It's a fight every time. How do you communicate? Tell him his ass better be on time. Okay. I'm sorry, but if you told me my ass better be on time, I'm probably habitually going to be late. There's nothing there that supports and advocates, hey, it's called being nice. Be nice. It doesn't have to be ugly. Why is the reason that you're 15 to 20 minutes late? I can answer that. I asked her, what was her problem? Because his work shift is different and he has to do this, that, and the other, and he lives, his work's 45 minutes away. But our agreement and parenting plan says our meets at 6 o'clock. Okay. That's what that says. Great. I'm glad you can read. Do you want my input? Why does 6 o'clock have to be it? Because that's what's on the piece of paper. Okay. Number one, I said, is this paper right here parenting your children? No. Is your attorney parenting your child? No. Is your judge? No. This is a roadmap. That's all this is. If he's having problems getting there, it's not because he wants to be. It may be because of the way you're talking to him. Maybe. Because back in my divorce, you talk to me crazy. Yeah, I'm probably going to be late on purpose. And you're texting and emailing your attorney who cannot help you. He's going back to tell the other attorney that tell your client to be on time. Boom. Y'all collectively just spent $13,000 on some bullshit that not a judge can tell you what to do. What are you doing? Like, just it, because it's irrational thinking. You can't, like, you and I can sit here and say, okay, this is why you don't act this way. And this is not going to help or support your case either way. It's not going to show anything. But y'all have failed communication, that y'all cannot constructively healthy figure out a way. Hey, I'm going to be late. I'll be there at 6:20. You could probably meet me down the street if you want to be at 6 o'clock. So that takes you getting in your car and going 10 miles down the street to pick your daughter up at 6 o'clock or your kids up at 6. I'm not doing it. Why? Because he's supposed to come. That's what this says. Okay. Do you like money? Because we're going to talk about how money is spent and how it's burned, because you just burned a whole bunch of money. Unless you're just wealthy, which I don't think you are, but good. So just tactically things that people do in a divorce, it has no rational thought process because you're conflicted all day long. You don't even realize it. And like I work with individuals with companies, and I do webinars and I do things about how these employees going through difficult times have struggle at work because they're conflicted 24/7, especially if you're a healthcare provider. You're taking care of my family member. I need you all hands on deck. I don't need you worried about your divorce, which you're going to be. You're human. But how you can handle it, there's many ways you can harness this and work through it. Getting a divorce coach. Number one, people don't understand what divorce coaches do. The first thing you do is hire a divorce coach. That is the first thing you do, unless you just want to spend a whole lot of money, because everybody has to have a plan for a divorce. Nobody planned for this divorce. You didn't say, I'm going to marry this person yet. 10 years from now, we're going to be divorced. If you plan for a divorce, and you're kind of a twisted individual, but you're not ready for this. You didn't plan. When you got married, did you get married by Elvis in Las Vegas on a whim? Some people do. And they also get divorced like that. Did you plan for your wedding? I always ask people that. Did you plan for your wedding? Of course we did. Did you hire a wedding coordinator or a wedding planner? My family did. Okay. How long did that take you? Generally, it's anywhere between 12 months to 18 months, generally, if it's going to be a really nice wedding. Okay. So you planned for this. You went in and this was a fun experience. You enjoyed making these decisions. Like it was great. Now you weren't ready for this. So you have to plan for a divorce now. What does that look like? If you're making a plan up as you go from an attorney, that plan is going to be very toxic. It just is. I worked with some phenomenal attorneys. Before I was doing what I did, they still had that wherewithal to, I want to give my clients the best experience possible. I don't need to run up a bill on them. I want them to get out as healthy as they can. That's why I think attorneys get burned out, because I think the litigation process is hard. And I think that the game and the creation of it is a money game. Nobody wins. Nobody wins in a divorce. Nobody. The attorneys do, but that's what they're hired for. That doesn't make them bad people. This is just the process. And if you don't go in knowing, planning, your emotions aren't in check, and you're making terrible decisions, you're gonna have a hard way.
So what you're saying then is like we have to learn to respond, not react.
I think awareness is a word that is not used enough. Like, I'm aware because I get this all the time. Like, do you understand where you're at today? No matter what city they're in. Yeah, I'm in Houston, Texas, right? Yeah, well, I'm in Houston. No, no, no. That's not the question I'm asking you. Do you understand the situation you're in? Well, yes. What does that look like to you right now? And they can't constructively or healthy give me a good response because they don't know. Well, I hired an attorney. I did this, and now we're talking to me. So why are you talking to me today? What can we do to plan for this? And they have no plan of action. They have no plan, like zero. Nobody knows. They go in, well, all my attorney told me is like, I'll probably get 60-40 custody and this, that, but like, all these different things. They have no idea. And like, And you, as you know, they're hurting too. They're hurting. I mean, you just got out of an agreement that was supposed to be forever. You didn't plan for this agreement to fail, but it did. And what's your response right now? Well, I'm hurting. I'm angry. She or he has done terrible things to me, and it's just my life is upside down right now. So how do you, as a human being, process and then go respond? The problem is, and I'm not a psychologist, not a psychiatrist. I'm not a licensed mental health provider. I don't want to be, but I also understand that I've been on that side, and I know, but I also understand that you can respond differently. You don't have to have a psychotherapist or anything like. I think it's good for you. I think that will help, but understanding exactly how we respond, because now we have a microscope under us. Like there's like this is like going in like game time, right? We're in the middle of a game. Like you have to perform. And how do you perform? You have to perform healthy. What does that look like? Well, I don't know. Like it is so hard. Like, and I have this conversation with so many of my clients. Be kind. That is not a hard word, but it's so hard to do. It is so hard to do because you're like, all you think about is he slept with my sister. That's all you think about. Never mind, you have two children over here that desperately need your attention. They need you to perform the F up. This is the time where you have to be a double down on parenting. If you focused on it before, damn it, you're going to have to focus double time now. And you have to, because how you, and these kids need you. They're hurting too. Like they're struggling. And they see you snap off all the time. What do you think they're going to do? They're going to snap off too. They're going to snap off. I know that I was angry all the time going through my divorce, and I almost had, like almost gotten confrontations over it because I just would snap on somebody. And that's not like me. Like I don't walk around looking for problems. Like I was just conflicted all the time. And if somebody said something to me the wrong way, I would probably snap back at them. And that's not fair. It's not fair. I had a salesman call me out of the blue one day and was trying to hard, and I just went off. I had to call him later that day and said, "Man, I am so sorry. I'm going through a really, really difficult time, and I wasn't in the best capacity, and I'm just really sorry. I shouldn't have done that to you. Like, sure, I'll entertain whatever you're talking to me about." And so I think people just don't understand because you're going through the motions. Yep, my attorney's got this, but I'm going to work, and then I have to go pick my kids up, and then I have this. You've just layered on a whole lot of new responsibilities in your life. Like your life is not the same now. And I think a lot of people have trouble with that too. You guys may have been involved in a country club. You had this life. That life doesn't exist anymore. It doesn't. We have to figure it out. Does this house look good to you? Okay, let's talk about the upkeep. I just want the house. I don't think you can afford it. I don't think that's what's best for you. Let's look at all the parameters around that. Because I'm so emotional, I'm taking this house, but you can't afford it. That doesn't make any sense. So now you're going to fight over something. You're going to spend more money. Then you're going to get this thing, and then you can't afford it, and then you're going to have to sell it, all for nothing, because you're mad, and that you want this house, and you want to prove a point that you're in control. And that's where a lot of the emotions and a lot of the problems I think get carried away is that one word alone: control. I think control is the root of all evils in divorce. I see it every day. And because people don't understand their emotions, control means a lot of different things. If I'm dictating what this parenting plan is going to be, the fuck you are, this is not going to happen. This is going to be the parenting plan. Really? So as a divorce coach, I create 5 parenting plans. Okay, let's see. What is reasonable for you? Okay, what's reasonable? What is absolutely not reasonable? So we create, okay, if I just give you 5 parenting plans and neither one of you can discuss this, the judge is going to have a problem with this. So now you're going to say the judge is going to have to go make this decision for you because you can't. You have 5 different parenting plans. Y'all can't agree on any of them. Now the judge is going to lay down. It's probably going to be something that neither one of you want. So now then you have to pay $50,000 on top of that because you can't agree.
So do you think most people that go through divorce are pretty, I'd have to say a lot in my world too. They're pretty naive of actually what the divorce process actually looks like.
Nobody understands it.
Yeah.
I actually am working with a paralegal, and this is kind of crazy. I'm working with a paralegal who works in this space. She doesn't understand. I'm like, this is what you do. Because it's different when I'm actually going through it. I said, why? She goes, I guess because I've always looked at the disaster cases, and I'm like, that's never going to be me. And then I find myself in this same world responding the same way. And I'm like, Shelby, like, you see this every day. Like, and so it's the magic of support. You know, I'm unbiased. I'm not judgmental. I don't care if you told me you had an affair with the whole neighborhood. I'm not going to judge you. I'm not going to tell you you're wrong for that. That's not my job. My job is to help you figure out the problem now and move forward. You can't fix yesterday, but you can set up tomorrow. And that's what people don't understand is like they go into a divorce highly conflicted. Their attorney puts a couple options on the table and they run with it. I don't care if it's financial gain, asset division gain, there's a lot of it. But then you go into it thinking like, if I don't get this and my life is over. Really? I'm going to tell you, I'm the happiest I've ever been in my life. I'm 7 years post divorce, 6 years post divorce. You know, I went through very dark times, very dark times. And people can always say money makes things easier. The fuck it does. I was hemorrhaging 70,000 a month, hemorrhaging 70,000 a month. I don't care if you make millions of dollars a year. It's a lot of money. Not just that, the emotional traumatic entity of, now I'm going from being a father all the time to being a father all the time, but just not in capacity of being there all the time. So I had to deal with that. And having a child weaponized against you creates more issues. And I see it too. And I see some of my clients have tended to go that way. And I'm like, "No, we're not doing that. You're not doing that with me. We'll check some boxes. If these boxes are checked, this is what the direction we need to go. If they're not checked, let's talk about it." But I also think that, you get wrapped up so much in me, now. You're not looking down the road of child, future. What does that look like? Because divorce ends. It's over one day, whether it's a 3-month divorce or it's a 3-year divorce. It ends. It ends. Doesn't mean life begins. Your life is now. Like you have to start planning to get to where you want to go. I didn't plan. I didn't. I didn't know what this was going to look like. I always resort it back to being a kid. You're in the deep end, right? You're in the deep end treading water in the swimming pool. You're going to get tired eventually. What do? You start either navigating to the side rail to hold on to, or you navigate to the shallow end where you could touch. It's the same way of being in divorce deep end. You're literally swimming. You're treading water and you're trying to keep your shit together as best as you can for as long as you can until you get tired enough to where you got two decisions. I can go get in the shallow end and be safe, or I can drown.
Mm.
And I'll, and what happens a lot of times, people ended up going under. Somebody has to get their ass out and save them. Is it too late? Could be. Financially, could be. You could be making decisions in this divorce that really dictate your outcome. I had seen. I started working with a guy who got a DUI. His attorney called me, said, "I need you to coach my client. He just got a DUI." So okay. I was like, "Is he an alcoholic? Is he having?" He's like, "No, he's just a normal dude." I said, "Okay." I get on the call with this guy, and I sympathize with him so much because this guy was ready to jump off a cliff. He's like, "I'm going to lose my children. I can't now. I have no visitation rights, blah, blah, blah. I wasn't even with my child. It was blah, blah, blah. I was having trouble." I'm like, say, "Man, you're roll your sleeves up and let's work together on this and everything will work out the way it's supposed to one day." But we have to figure out what that timeline looks like. And we have to figure out what you need to do to get the parenting time you desire. You're going to have to go through hell to get to heaven. That's just the way it's going to be. And so I shift his perspective a little bit because he feels like his life is over. And I understand. Like I as a man, like I remember allegations coming out about me and I didn't see my kid for 2 weeks over it. And then when it was turned around as false, I got 2 extra weeks of parenting time. But for those 2 weeks, I was lost. I was lost in translation. I would sit in my living room in pure darkness, crying my eyes out and trying to figure out why this happened to me. And that's a question you're never going to get the answer to. So I had to man the F up and get off my couch, turn on the lights, and figure out I need to be a better man and a better person for my kid.
Do you think a lot of emotion and anger comes from uncertainty?
I think so. Actually, I know so. I don't think so. I think uncertainty is a fear we all have, right? I think about this. Think about it this way of uncertainty. I think a lot of people fear death, right? I think a lot of people fear it because they don't whatever your religious beliefs are. If you have no religion, you have religion, whatever. I don't ever talk about that, but the concept is the same. It's going to happen. Like we're going to die one day. I think we have that fear. What does that fear like for you, and what does that look like for me? For me, I only fear death because I fear it because I won't be there for my kids. That's my fear. I don't want to leave my kids. One day I will. One day I'll have to leave my kids. But that uncertainty of when, I don't know when that's going to be. So I have to make sure my kids know, one, that I love them. Two, I've done everything in my life to empower them. And three, hopefully leave a lasting legacy for them. That scares the shit out of me because it could happen today. I could leave here and go to the gym and go get in a car accident and die. Uncertainty and divorce, same thing. Like you're going into this like, I don't know what the hell is going on. Why is she turned into this evil person? Or why is he being such an asshole? Like, why is he, why can't we just do this right? We don't know. We're told things. We react. We react because number one, we are uncertain about what the hell is going on. Like as a man or a woman, I don't care what if it's the same battle. You know, I think men do get a lot of the short end of the sticks when it comes to parenting. I think they do. I've seen it. I've seen it firsthand. And it's not the man's fault. It's just that is the way society and the judicial system set up in a lot of ways, in a lot of places. So I think that's tough. So I think there are a couple different factors that play in, but I think uncertainty in divorce is just that. I don't know, man. Like, how much is this going to cost me? God, I've already paid this. Like, when's my parenting time going to kick in? Or what? Why can't we just agree to put our kid in this sport? She doesn't want to do it. She used to want to do it. Now she doesn't want to do it. Hell, she even played that sport. She doesn't want to do this with her kid. Or the same, vice versa. So I think the uncertainty, I think, is the number one triggering fact in this because you just lost your best friend and partner. You just have a failed agreement. I'm uncertain where I'm going to be living. I'm uncertain about my finances. I'm uncertain about my parenting time. I'm uncertain if I'm going to even have this job or I may need to get another job. So all the factors come into play. So it just compounds whatever in your life. We all worry about things. I worry about things. But that just adds, it just compounds on top of already you're worrying already about XYZ. Now you got to put a divorce on top of it. So now you have an elephant that just sat on your head. How the hell do you get that elephant off of you? I mean, that's why you need support because people don't know what they don't know. And if you go into a divorce knowing exactly what you want to get out of it and planning the correct way, I commend you. I do. I commend you. Because not too many people have that plan of action. And I really respect the people that can amicably divorce. Like I've mediated people that just come to me and like, hey, mediate us. I'm like, shit, that's easy. Let's go. You know, 2, 3 hours, boom, meet done. Pay the $500 filing fee. You're divorced. And I think that's so powerful. And it just shows the adultness that they have for each other. I don't want to spend hundreds of thousands on litigation fees. I don't want to weaponize my children. And I just want to be done with this. I don't care if he takes the house. I don't care about that. I just want to be out. I want to be out.
So, before we wrap up, do you have any like tips to how they can handle these emotions?
Always the factors of hire a divorce coach for if it's not me, you need a coach. You need a support system in place that helps you create options and it helps keep your eye on the prize. That number one, I think therapy also is definitely needed too to help to kind of harness a lot of your emotions. And if you want to figure out the why, therapy is probably the right way for you. I think emotions are really tricky. I think the best way to encapsulate how to everybody can do it, I think is just being aware of the situation you're in, understanding and having the logic that this will pass. We will get through this. This is just a chapter that, hey, this divorce started, it will end. And then my life can begin. No, your life begins now. Every day you put on your pants. Let's figure out what we're going to do. So I think having not so much uncertainty, having more certainty in controlling your emotions, controlling yourself. Like it's easy to say, my spouse just texted me some crazy shit. I'm just not going to respond to that. I'm not going to let it trigger me today. Just not. That takes effort. It takes effort. It takes discipline. And there's days where you might fall through the cracks, and it's okay. It happens. Happens to me. But that would be kind of the words of wisdom to get started is understanding that for every action you impose, there's a reaction. Think about what that reaction looks like, and that how your response is what the reaction you're going to get. So if you want to fight, you can pick a fight. Why would you want to do that? It's expensive. And it doesn't change your outcome. Outcome's going to be
That's
the same.
that's the whole point, Chris. It,
Yeah,
it does
I
not
know.
change the
It
outcome,
doesn't change anything.
right?
You could go 12 rounds in a boxing match and just beat the hell out of each other. Guess what? At the end of the thing, there's going to be a unanimous decision. It's going to probably be the same thing. So it's just people have to understand to get in touch with their emotions. And yes, it's tough. And it's okay to talk about it. I think talking about it, having a support system, a professional support system, not a friend, not a family member, having that support can help you harness your emotions and tactically get yourself together.
Yeah, I'm 100% agreement with the support systems. If I had had that 7 years ago, Chris,
Oh,
oh my, just like
oh,
you, I would have been,
oh,
oh, this
man.
is this right? Like this is, I think that's why we're so passionate about what we do is because we don't want you, the listeners, to suffer or to go
No,
through what we did, um, needlessly, right? It doesn't have to be that way.
it really doesn't. It really doesn't. And I think what's impactful for me is I love hearing stories about my former clients that said, Chris, I was out for blood. You instilled reason in me, and I divorced the proper way and got out financially untapped, basically. I have all my resources in check. And this last year, I've been rebuilding and thriving because I did it the right way. And I'm like, that to me is better than anything. Like that's why we do what we do. Because I can't say that. You can't. Like I feel like I was robbed of this, right? So all I can do is help the next. Like I needed this. I didn't get it, so what? Now I can just help the next person.
Mhm. So before we wrap up
Yeah,
officially, I asked one question. You already kind of answered it, but I'll see if you have any different
yeah.
comment. For someone who is just separated, whether they left or were left, what advice would you give them to help them navigate those early days?
Good question. Focus on yourself and healthy ways to navigate your day. Create plans of action, whether it's changing your life. Like if you weren't a physical person where you didn't go to the gym or run or walk or hike or whatever, I think it's so important for physical activity, not only just for the health reasons, right? Mentally, it's good for your clarity. And also, you can make friends. You need to find new friends. You need to have healthy engagements with other people. Because if you're just dealing with yourself and your ex and your attorney, and then of course your circle of friends already hate your spouse, and so it becomes a level of toxicity, create a new friendship base where, hey, I'm going through this, but I don't really want to talk about it. I don't want to get engaged in relative conversation. I would say people that focus on themselves in a healthy way. I'm not saying go to the bar and go, do this stuff. No. If you're going to drink, drink responsibly, because that's the worst thing that can happen to you is if you get into a situation like that. But I would say that, understanding exactly where you are currently and creating a plan of action to get to where you want to go. If you're not going to work with a coach, you need to do it for yourself. You need to, like me, and that's what I did for myself, and that it was so beneficial. I do it with my clients. What do you enjoy to do? And they give me, some of them don't even have, like, some people are so shut down, they don't even understand what they love to do. Like, I had a guy, like, he was a college baseball player, great athlete. Like, what do you enjoy doing, man? He's like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm like, well, what's your hobbies? I don't really have any. I just work. Okay, you're a former athlete. Do you go to the gym? Hadn't had time. What time do you get up? When I sleep, 6:30, 7 o'clock, whatever. Is there a gym near you? Actually, right down the street. You ever thought about getting into a 5 a.m. class? 5 a.m. workout? Yeah, I just don't. I said, well, do me a favor. Set yourself up for 5 days in a row and go 5 days in a row. And after that, you don't want to go back, don't go back. But the fact that is you formulated a plan and you executed it shows that you are capable of doing tasks on your own. It doesn't have to be a gym. It could be anything. It could be any hobby, but create something for yourself that creates a level of fun for you. I don't care if you love to go play mini golf or if you're a movie buff and you want to go, Chris, I just don't want to go to the theater by myself. I feel embarrassed. It's okay. I didn't realize that movie theaters were so enlightened now that people can see who you are. I thought they were dark. Well, that's a good point. Why can't you go to a movie by yourself? So let's talk about that. Why are you scared to do that? And then by next week, I just went and saw a movie by myself. It was awesome. I saw two in one day. How'd you feel about that? Well, I was scared and I did it, and it was nothing to be scared of. There we go. So I think the level of uncertainty of you can't even process going to a movie theater by yourself. Guess what? You just overcame something. You ought to be proud of yourself for that. That's a small win. We'll take small wins all the time. So what else can we win? I'm competitive, and some of my clients, they're competitive, so I challenge them.
I love
You
the
know, I'm like,
small wins. When you're
I'm
going
like, you know
through,
what? Yeah.
yeah, when you're going through a divorce, Chris, small wins mean everything.
Oh my gosh, it is so impactful. Like just a win is like, oh, I may not have won a lot, but damn it, I won. That's all it
Mhm,
is. And you
mhm.
got to take the small wins because you're going to have some failures. Things aren't going to go your way. I've never seen that happen unless you are have the abuse, unless you're abusive and all. I've never seen it just go one-sided.
That's true.
If it is one-sided, there's a reason.
So tell us where our listeners can get in touch with you, and if you have anything that's coming up.
Yeah, so you can go on my website www.divorcetom.com. I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Facebook. I have a very exciting new project that I'll kind of share. I've created the Divorce Support Network, which will be nationwide, will be in every major city, sub-major city. This is something that has been tried before that has been unsuccessful. I will make it successful. I am actually going out in every community, and I have a tech team building me out a platform. And within the platform, there's going to be another platform. So individuals that need help, okay? Every community, there's people researching separation, divorce. What does that look like? I'm not sure if I need to get divorced, XYZ. So it's going to be a bridge off of Facebook. It's going to be a landing page you'll have to answer questions. It will be a paid site. So people looking for divorce support and resources. It's a $50 yearly membership, which is $4.16 a month. It's about the same price as gas, but you only do it once. So you come in. What does that look like? I don't know what I need out of this divorce. So I'm going to engage in healthy community. It's gatekept. There is a fee, so it keeps out the spammers. And you'll also have people you can network within the community. But here's the key. We're going to have professionals in the group as well. CDFAs, coaches, attorneys, therapists, psychologists. We're going to have health coaches. We're going to have business coaches. We're going to have anything that you need that's going to be professionals in a divorce. We're going to have a podcast section. You can go on and you can listen to Karen's podcast. You can listen to this and other podcasts. You can go in. So you'll have a resource page. What am I looking for? Based off your questions, boom, send you to this page, this site. And within your community, it will give you a list of these preferred professionals, which you also are allowed one-on-one meet, which is going to be a complimentary meet with a professional of your choice. If you're looking for a mediator, you're looking for, I need a tax attorney. Boom, there's one in your site. What does the CDFJ do? Let me research it. So you can go on and there's going to be content available. So every month we'll have a monthly line of this is what our topic of conversation is this month. Let's talk about child support and alimony. Boom, 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 boom. So we'll have live sections on it. We'll have feeds. We'll have videos. So people can come in and really understand what divorce looks like. For professionals, I'm having trouble getting clients. What does that look like? Okay. You're a CDFA. It means you can work in any capacity known to man all over the country and in Canada. So you come in and I want to be in 5 markets. Minimal fee for the year. Boom, put you in. So you can go in and you can share your content, your posts, your podcast, all of your resources that will help these individuals. Now think about it this way from professionals. We're going to have over 150 markets. I think if you're having trouble getting clients, this is the way that it's going to provide you clients because I don't know anybody in Topeka, Kansas. Never been there. Don't have plans on going there. But guess what? People in Topeka, Kansas need help. So we're going to have the attorneys in the area, and then we're going to have a lot of professionals that are going to be in this group, and it's going to be a way that's going to be very healthy. It will be gatekept. I always say that, going in these spaces, people need to know that this is safe. If I want to open up my dirty laundry, guess what? You're not going to be attacked. You're not going to be judged. It's going to be a judgment-free zone. I just don't know what I need because I don't know what I don't know. And we, as the community, can help guide you to what you may need. If I need a one-on-one, oh yeah, I don't know what I need. I need a will and a trust. I don't know what that looks like. Boom. Go onto the page, and in your area, this is what you have based off your zip code. And it's going to be so impactful for the communities. Not only just communities, like this is going to set a stage for all professionals that are struggling. I'm in so many network groups, and that's the source. How do you get clients? I don't have that problem. I don't have that problem. Like I have people all over coming to me now. And so it's like I have to figure out if I have time to take them. So it's going to be so it's going to be Divorce Support Network. It'll reside inside of Facebook, which will have an internal landing page. When you subscribe, you'll have access to all the content in your area and universally. So you can ask the proper questions. You're in this is a no, you pay $50 to be in this for the year. You can ask as many questions as you would like. You're not paying an attorney fee on this. So if you need to engage in a stupid question that you would have to ask your attorney, we just saved you $350 an hour off of just a community question. So people are really going to understand this is so, so big for them. And this has never been done. It's been tried. I've had people tell me that this won't be able to be done. Well, I'm wired a little differently. It will be done, and it is done. I'm launching in 2 weeks. My
I'd love
tech
to have you
team is,
when
yeah,
you're up. I'd love to have you back on because I think it needs
it's going to
more
be
force
great.
than just
I've already got 4 speaking engagements all over
good.
the country that I paid a lot of money to do. That I'm going to go in and I'm going to promote this. And this means a lot to me because it should mean a lot to you. We're all in this space together.
Mhm.
Like you and me, we do the same thing. We help people realize there's a better way to divorce. Yeah, it sucks. It is what it is. It's a disease. Guess what? We have the treatment for it. So I can't explain enough like how big this is going to be. And like professionals, why would you not want to be a part of this? Like, why would you not want to be a part of this? I'm not charging you a lot of money. I'm trying to create resources that I didn't know that was existing. You may have not have known this existed so many years ago. And I could have used a CDFA. The hell I could have. Bro, why are you spending 70,000 a month on top of all your other crap you're spending? Like, what are you doing? Like, I'm just pissing money away.
Well, when you think about what we've gone through before with the uncertainty,
Yes.
we would have both used this
Right.
network as well
Oh,
as divorcing people, right?
I've told, so I'm trying to launch, like, I'm at the country club the other day. This is Sunday, talking about, whatever. And like, all of a sudden people are like, I want to subscribe just to be in the group. Like, I've been post-divorce for 10 years. I'm remarried, but I want to see what this is going to be. I'm like, well, it's $50 if you want to be in it. So it's like, it's not a financial, like, you have skin in the game. And as we know, if you pay for something, you want to get something out of it. So this is going to be a very safe space for so many people. And I've seen these groups on Facebook. God, they're so toxic. Like, I've got in it and it engages me. Like, I'm like, God, what are y'all doing? And it turns into like a dating site. And like, oh, stop. This is just not healthy for anybody. Um, and I had one of my clients was like, yeah, I was on that group. And these people are crazy as hell. I'm like, it's kind of people. It's like people watching. You know?
Yeah, you got to be careful with Facebook groups, but I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's gonna
So
be great.
I'd love to have you back on when it's up and running, and we can talk about everything that you're doing, because I think it's a essential and vital
It is.
thing for everybody going through divorce. And that's what we want to
Everybody.
stress. Like, maybe you don't want to do the coach yet, but
Yeah,
this
that's fair.
network will help you figure things out that maybe you do need the CDFA.
Correct.
Maybe you do need a coach, right? And I think we want to change the way that divorce is done. That's really,
And I'm gonna tell you right now, because we've known each other a short time. I'm putting this on my back and I'm running it. I'm going straight to the top because this is going to change divorce. I really believe that. I really believe it. I have the resources to do it and I'm going to do it. And this is for all people. I don't care if you're rich or poor. This is affordable and it's acceptable. And if you're not ready to get a coach, I understand. That's another financial, I'm paying all this money, I can't afford a coach. I have plenty of clients that can't afford me. I make it realistic. I make it worth their while. And I try to help everybody because I can't sleep at night knowing that, you know, XYZ can't afford my services and she needs help or he needs help. I can't sleep at night. Like, I can't. Like, if I know you need help, I'm going to help you. That's terrible for a for-profit business. I'll be the first person to say that if I was a business coach for somebody. But you know what? I care. I care. And I'm not going to let that undone. I probably have 15 clients that haven't paid me a dime. That's okay. It's okay. I'm helping them get through a couple things. Am I giving all my services out? No, but I'm trying to help them the best way I can. So, so yeah, I can't wait to get back on here, share this with you, share
I'd
this
love
with the
to.
world. I think it's going to be immediately impactful. Um, I can't wait. I can't wait for this to generate because I think it's going to change lives, and it's going to change our life too, right? As divorce professionals, we are in a small classification, right? We're small fry, small in the big world. The attorneys run the legal show. Got to have an attorney. I wouldn't advise you to go pro se, but need an attorney. But they do. They run a lot of the legal gamuts, and not all of them are transparent. And that is what it is. I get it. If you're a hungry attorney coming out of law school, I'm making all the money I can make. I get it. But we need help. We need help. We help each other and we help the attorneys. They help us, we help the clients. So, if we're all on the same page, like, I'm never trying to take clients from you. You're not going to try to take clients from me. Will I refer clients to you? Absolutely. If I think someone's great for this job, boom, there you go. Like, if I had a special needs kids, I'd go to Mary Ann Hughes. I'd go to Dr. Susan Bernstein. Boom. I've done that. Like, here, I don't want, like, you can coach them better than me. Or if you're a CDFA, I've read businesses before. I know what a balance sheet looks like, and I'm pretty damn good at it. But guess what? They're a CDFA. They're trained in this. They're better than me. They have more resources and capacity than I do.
Mhm.
I could create it, but that's not what I do.
Right.
So, that's big for us too. And I think coaches, not only just from the coaching aspect, but from the resource aspect. Like, you may have hired the wrong attorney. I have 4 clients right now that came to me from word of mouth, and Those clients have all 4 different attorneys that do not meet their needs. So this one person needs a pit bull, not a chihuahua, and been dragging their feet for 9 months and have only seen a judge once. Wasting away in Margaritaville is what they're doing without the margarita. So I'm like, all right, we got to flip you. We got to flip you an attorney that's going to get on this, because there's no reason this is not done in 6 months. So it's like, all right, and it's the same way. And then this flipped. You got a pit bull. You needed a poodle. Well, some poodles are angry. Jack Russell. But you know what I mean. So it's like, and there's certain ways, like, people just don't understand. Well, he represented my uncle and represented my best friend. Your uncle and your best friend's picture is a lot different than yours. The divorce is not neutral. It's not the same. Your divorce is emphatically different than that person's.
That's a common problem.
It really
Common
is.
problem.
It really is. And I mean, I understand you're going for the dude on the commercial. I get it. He looks good, he dresses good, he talks good. But why the hell am I paying a $15,000 retainer and billing out at $500 an hour when I make $100,000 a year? Don't make any sense. Because he's gonna get me the golden dome? I doubt it. You want to bet? I'll bet you. Bet you a hundo. That's not gonna happen.
Yeah, perfectly said.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's we see it every day.
Well, I want to thank you for coming on. As usual,
Thanks for
it's
having
always
me.
a pleasure.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
I look forward to having you back on, Chris.
Can't wait to do it. Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you for joining today's discussion with our divorce expert. Check out the show notes for more about our guest. If you're finding value in our podcast, follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and our YouTube channel at Divorce Workshop. Share your questions, comments, or guest suggestions. We'd love to hear from you. For a comprehensive divorce guide, check out our Just Separated workbook on Amazon worldwide. This workbook covers everything from emotions and co-parenting to finances, legal insights, and recovery, a must-have for anyone navigating separation or divorce.